Welcome you lot. I'm here today to talk about some mudline fishing. I love this way of fishing. It's dead exciting. Shallow water, fishing across to a mudline. A bit of bare banking is what mudline means. And because the water is usually sort of 18 inches, no deep, possibly even less. When you get some big fish in there, you can see tails and swirls and stuff like that. There's nothing better than seeing that activity where you're fishing, waiting for that float to go down, and obviously it's then excitement unleashed as you hook into hopefully some nice decent fish. So first thing I want to talk about in terms of this is bait. Tend to use hot bait wise, tend to use bunch of maggots, just dead straightforward. I always carry with me, well not always, but most of the time I've got with me red and white maggots. As I've got there, I always bring them live. I can kill them then if need be. Sometimes I'll use deads depending if I know information on the venue, but generally speaking live maggots, and I'll put as many as I can fit on the hook essentially when fishing for carp. That's the only kind of rule with them. And then the other is sweet corn. Dead straightforward really. I like to get, this is simply corn from Aldi, nice and straightforward. I like this because it's not too bright, it's quite pale, and I can then add brightness to it using a variety of different bait dyes if I want to, but also it comes in lots of different, it's not uniform in size, there's lots of different sizes of grains, so you can try different things, which is a bit of versatility on the bank on a day. And the other thing is ground bait and micro pellets. Now I always start off with, so I've got dampened micro pellets that are just perfect for the pole. Let's get these out. So there we go, absolutely perfect for the pole, just to squeeze together just nicely, but obviously they'll still break up just as I want them to do as well. So nice straightforward fishing micro pellets that are just soaked up. Sometimes I like to add a bit of flavour on as well depending on what we need on a day, and again whether it's venue specific. And then the other thing is ground bait. So I like to use like a quite a heavy ground bait. I don't over wet it. I start with nice, it's just normal typical ground bait that will squeeze together lovely but still crumble apart absolutely perfectly, and it's still actually quite light. So I'll always start off with this ground bait in a pot. I'll never big pot it first unless I need to bring more fish into the peg, but just to start with, you find your way and feel your way in. So I'll start off with just that neat ground bait. There's a few little particles in there, but it's very very minute from that perspective. What I can then do, you see, is I can then make a mix. So I can have this, I can have it as it is, or just with micro pellets. I can put 50-50 or whatever I want, ground bait and micro pellets together, so that I've got that attractiveness and the fluffiness of the ground bait, but then I've still got a bit of feed in terms of the micro pellets for them to have a look at and to start grubbing around. And then I'll also have a separate tub as well. I've got an empty tub here, and I'll have that for wetter ground bait, if that makes sense, but I'll only make up a little bit at a time. So I'll put some of my normal ground bait, my dry mix will go in that bowl, possibly with a little bit of the micros as well. I'll wet that up and make it quite sloppy, not completely, but so that it's really really heavy, so that goes down and it stays in a nice clump just on the bottom. Because again, if I put it, where's my pot? There we go. So if I just use one of these pots here, so if I've got that like that, all I want that is for that to come out. So I just end up with that nice trap set on the bottom that's just like that, and then obviously you've got your bunch of maggots over the top of that, so it just breaks down lovely, and it's nice simple mouthful for those fish. Stops them from getting too scattered everywhere, especially if you wet this down as well. It's just a nice simple way of setting a trap and catching one fish at a time. The last thing you want in shallow water like that is to attract too many in, because then you'll start foul looking fish and it becomes a bit of a nightmare, which is not the kind of thing you want. Okay then, so in terms of rigs, really straightforward. We're going with a short top kit, the F1 top kits, basically because I want an elastic that's quite strong, because I'm fishing up against a mudline and I've got snags kind of either side. I want something that powers up really quickly, and it just means that with those short top kits I've got a bit of stiffness, a bit more stiffness in the pole, especially fishing at 16 meters, and it just means that everything powers up quickly, and I'm Mel's just gone past. Awesome bit of kit, he's saying. It's right, the G40 is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I want something to power up really quickly, and I want it to get the fish under control, nice and straightforward, nice and quick. There's no messing about with it. Elastic is 12 to 14 TKS hybrid, so a little bit stronger than what I normally use for sort of F1-y kind of work. Again, just so it's robust. No messing around with the main line. It's 0.21 all the way down. Obviously 2 number 8 back shots. The float is the new margin range from MAP, and in this case I use a heavy float. I don't want the bait moving round, so I either use a 0.4 or a 0.5 of a gram. This one is a 0.5 of a gram. Obviously if I want to shallow it off a little bit, I can shallow it off. If I want to reduce that, I can use the 0.4 or even a 0.3, but today, just with the way these carp feed in here, it's to be nailed to the bottom, no messing around, so that's straightforward. That goes straight down to a bulk. I've got 8 number 8s sitting on top of 4-inch hook length to a size 14. Hook length is 0.19, so again, no messing around. I've got no issues in changing that hook length if I start catching big fish to a size 12 even, not an issue at all. I still use 019. Down the edge I would use a similar rig really. It's the same process, but the elastic is a little bit stronger. Main line is the same, and then I go to main line is a bit stronger, and then I go to slightly stronger hook length on the size 12 as well, so margins it'd be beefed up. So but you got to bear in mind is mudline fishing is very, very similar to margin fishing. It's just a case of start kind of middle of the road. You can go lighter, you can go heavier if you need to, you can change it on the day. Dead straightforward rig. Let's see if we can go and catch some fish. Okay, so just starting off with a medium pot. Like I said, at the moment I'm just going to use this neat ground bait. I'm going to pop that in. Not going to press it too hard. So it's just neat ground bait, nothing more than that. And we'll get shipping out. It helps if you've got your pole, doesn't it? Right then, should we try that again? That's what happens when Mel shouts things at you going past. Okay, so neat ground bait in that pot. So as you can see, it's squeezing enough so it's not going to come out as I'm shipping across. So we've fed absolutely nothing on that line. Yeah, it literally is as it is. Nothing's anything different. Okay, I just need a bit of a check here to see that we are in the right place, which we are. I'm just going to be on the edge of that grass there. Lean forward that inch because you've got your pole pot. There's a fish there already. Not even fed anything yet. Okay, and set the trap. Let's see what happens. I'm just waiting to see if they come in over. They're obviously going into that space because I can see that from the fish that have gone in already. I'm just going to be careful of the wind. It is a bit windy. Keeping my pole just a bit to the right of my float because of the shadow. But we're in dark water there as well, so that'll help. And obviously we've got the white top kit on, so I mean it is a confidence thing, but it still makes the same shadow, but at least when they're looking up at all, it's a bit lighter against the same colour, same kind of colour as the sky. So I'm fishing an inch over depth, 18 inches of water, and you've got to remember to be patient fishing these lines like this because those fish are coming in up a slope. You don't want little fish attacking it too much. go. First indication. It come back nice and quick, and that, like I said, all of that, the rig, the elastic, the length of the top kit, everything just helped bring it out into that deep water perfectly under control, even in the wind at 16 metres. This G40 is absolutely brilliant. Okay, nice and straightforward. We can unship, keep everything down nice and low. And we just disturbed another fish there. So when it starts to run, just keep everything low down, follow it with the tip of your top kit if you need to. It's dead straightforward. Keeping that big fish under control. There we go. Typical mudline fish. Got a 4-pound carp. Oh. Let's see if you'll let me. There we go, look, perfect. When all of the plans come together, that should just be what you end up with. Okay, so at this point now, you've caught exactly what you've intended to catch. It's not a case of needing to change anything. So all I'm going to do is just making sure that hook is nice and full of those maggots. I'm not going to change anything at all, sticking with the ground bait. That seems to have done the job, one fish at a time. You know, if I'd caught something that, if I waited a long time for the bite, or we got pestered by a little fish or something like that, then obviously I might have made a change. I might have changed the hook bait. I might have added some micros to the ground bait. But when you catch fish like that, just as you intend to, there's no, you know, there really is no reason to change anything. So exactly the same again. Just cup that ground bait in, nice and close to that mud bank. Set that trap. Oh, something's had it straight away. So it's come straight in on that ground bait. So like I said, I don't want too many fish in the swim at a time. I don't want to be foul looking fish. That one was a bit close. Probably end up with an F1 this time. Yeah. I will still feed again. So nicely in the top lip, so everything's just where I need it to be. I'm going to shorten this elastic, that's what I'm going to do, because it's a bit quite new, so it's a little bit long. Yes, so I'm going to put some micro pellets in with the mix this time. Make sure you take your rubbish home, don't leave it on the bank. So I'm not worried about the rig just yet. Sort that out in a second. Just get that trap set and then hook bait. straight over the top. There we go. That target out bait of that corn can make that difference. I think it's only an F1 again though. It's definitely coming in like one. Dog on a lead until it gets down here, and off it goes. Okay, two and a pound easy, 2.5 pound. Just what we want. Exactly the same again with that ground bait. Try and catch. There's fish movement there all the time, which is fantastic to see. There's that wind getting up. Just keeping a nice close eye on it. There we go. Back way come again. Spot on. Exactly what we wanted. That simple change of the corn has made a difference there. Balance tackle doing the job. Not a big fish this one. Same as the last one. Nicely in the lip. There's fish in there on that ground bait all the time. It's just coming into it quite nicely. So important that you don't overdo it. I see it time and time again where, and it's a mistake I've made as well, it happens, just putting too much in to start with. Obviously enough to attract fish, but not too much, where you end up with too many at the same time. Just simple, one fish at a time, just like that. That's all you need. Just take that time. Moving back. And these are feeding really well on the mudline. Just got to remember when you're using these short top kits that with elastic powering up so quickly, you've got to be careful shipping back. If you come shipping back too fast, you're gonna bump the fish off. I'll mirror this time. Same kind of size. nicely in the top lip. He's a lively one. There we go. I'll get him back in straight away because he's a bit angry. As I would be as well if someone just hauled me out like that. A bit like when I get out of bed in the morning, I feel a bit like that. Unless I'm coming fishing, obviously. Okay, so out we go with this pot. We'll just see if we can get a few fish. I don't want too many, as I've said, but I also want enough there to compete. So we have that bait. Make sure that's all come out nicely, which it has. It's looking a bit black, that sky up there at the minute, which is not comfortable when you're fishing, especially not when you're fishing and filming. That leaves me with rather a lot to do. So I'm not gonna like leave that or anything, straight out on it. One of the great things about this new G series is this raised bit. You know, when you get into the end of the sections, I don't even have to look. You can feel it in your hands. Brilliant feature. So let's get that corn in on the spot. And hopefully we get a good positive bite. Little indication there, just lifted at that, just reactions really. It's definitely brought fish in. See, it's over the back of something now. And carefully just reset the rig. Sometimes with carp you've got to feed a bit more to get them in. F1's obviously little and often, but sometimes carp you just need that little bit extra. There we go, and it gets them feeding that little bit more confidently. And the beauty of that heavy rig, it means you get that bolt effect, which is demonstrated really well then. It's just took it and hooked itself. As soon as it felt that weight, it's off into the deeper water. And this is the difference, you see, that pot, it's just brought those carp in. Like I said, it's just about selecting, doing the right thing, feeding the right way, selecting the right baits to catch the right fish. You know, catching those F1s is nice with that smaller pot, and that bigger one has brought this fish into the peg, which is a lovely mirror. He's an angry mirror, doesn't want to get in the net. There we go. That's just gorgeous. There it is. Just on the inside of his mouth. again, that's a difference, that just that pot, not too big of a pot, but just makes a difference in terms of those fish you catch. So there you go, quite simple mudline fishing. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the bank soon.